Social media. Unlike caffeine or nicotine, it's not something you drink or smoke. Yet for billions of people, it's one of the hardest habits to break. It lives in your pocket, follows you everywhere, and is only a tap away. The moment you open the app, your brain begins chasing rewards. Every swipe, every notification, every like, and every new video carries the possibility of something exciting. You never know what you'll see next, and that's exactly what keeps you scrolling. Within seconds, your brain starts releasing dopamine, the chemical linked to motivation and reward. It isn't a huge rush like cocaine or methamphetamine. Instead, it's delivered in hundreds of tiny bursts. One funny video, one interesting post, one message, then another and another. At first, it feels harmless. You tell yourself you'll check one notification or watch a single video, but minutes quietly become hours. Your attention drifts. The outside world fades, replaced by an endless stream of content designed to keep you engaged for as long as possible. Over time, your brain adapts to this constant stimulation. Everyday activities begin to feel slower and less rewarding. Reading a book, studying, or even sitting in silence can suddenly feel difficult because your brain has grown used to receiving instant rewards every few seconds. Then comes the crash. You put your phone down, but your hand reaches for it again almost automatically. The silence feels uncomfortable. You wonder if someone messaged you, if there's something new to watch, or if you've missed something important. Not because you need information, but because your brain is already craving the next reward. Unlike many addictive substances, social media doesn't leave obvious physical scars. Instead, it quietly reshapes your habits, your attention span, and even the way you experience boredom. The most dangerous part isn't that it steals your time, it's that it slowly convinces your brain that every quiet moment needs to be filled with another scroll. Gambling. Unlike most addictions, you're not putting a chemical into your body, you're feeding your brain with uncertainty. Whether it's a casino, sports betting, slot machines, or online apps, the real product isn't money, it's anticipation. Every spin, every card, every bet carries the possibility of a reward. Most of the time you lose, but every once in a while you win. And that's exactly what makes gambling so addictive. When your brain doesn't know whether a reward is coming, it releases even more dopamine than when the reward is guaranteed. It's the uncertainty that keeps people playing. Every loss feels like the next win could be just one more try away. At first, gambling feels exciting. Your heart beats faster. Your focus narrows. Every second before the result feels intense, as if everything depends on what happens next. Then comes the win. For a brief moment, your brain is flooded with pleasure. Confidence soars. It feels like you figured out the system, like luck is finally on your side. But that feeling disappears almost as quickly as it arrives. Losses begin to pile up, yet instead of walking away, many people feel an even stronger urge to continue. The brain starts chasing the feeling of the last win, believing the next one is just around the corner. Hours pass. Money disappears. The excitement slowly turns into desperation. Over time, gambling changes the way your brain evaluates risk and reward. Small victories feel unforgettable, while countless losses become easier to ignore. The addiction isn't driven by logic anymore. It's driven by hope. Unlike drugs or alcohol, gambling leaves no smell, no needle marks, and no physical trace. But it can quietly destroy savings, relationships, careers, and mental health while convincing you that one more bet will fix everything. The most dangerous gamble isn't the money you lose. It's believing the next spin will finally change your life. Nicotine. It's one of the most addictive chemicals ever discovered. Found in cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, and vapes. It's used by millions every day. But contrary to popular belief, it's not the smoke that keeps people addicted. It's the nicotine. The moment it's inhaled, nicotine races from your lungs into your bloodstream and reaches your brain in less than 10 seconds. Few substances act this quickly. Once it arrives, it triggers a surge surge of dopamine, the chemical responsible for reward and motivation. At the same time, it releases adrenaline, making your heart beat faster while your mind feels unusually sharp and alert. At first, it feels calming, stress fades, anxiety softens, your thoughts seem clearer, and for a brief moment, everything feels under control. But that feeling doesn't last. Nicotine leaves the brain almost as quickly as it enters. Dopamine levels begin to fall, and before long, the calm is replaced by restlessness, irritability, and another craving. Many smokers believe cigarettes help them relax. In reality, they're often just relieving the withdrawal caused by the previous cigarette. With repeated use, the brain rewires itself around nicotine. Natural dopamine production becomes less effective, making everyday life feel less rewarding without another hit. Over the years, nicotine addiction is accompanied by serious physical damage. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, lung disease, and several types of cancer, while keeping the brain locked in an endless cycle of dependence. Nicotine doesn't create peace. It simply teaches your brain that peace only exists after the next puff. Caffeine. It's the world's most widely consumed psychoactive substance. Found in coffee, tea, soda, energy drinks, and even chocolate, it's part of the daily routine for billions of people. For many, the day doesn't truly begin until that first sip. Once you drink it, caffeine is rapidly absorbed into your bloodstream and reaches your brain within minutes. But unlike what most people believe, it doesn't actually create energy. Instead, it blocks a chemical called adenosine, the signal that tells your brain it's getting tired. With that signal temporarily silenced, your neurons become more active, your brain releases adrenaline, your heart beats a little faster, and your attention sharpens. Suddenly, you feel awake, focused, and ready to take on the day. Within about half an hour, the effects reach their peak. Thoughts feel clearer, work seems easier, even simple tasks become more manageable. It feels as though your brain has switched into a higher gear, but caffeine is only borrowing energy from the future. As your body slowly breaks it down, adenosine begins to build up again. The alertness fades, replaced by fatigue, irritability, and that familiar urge for another cup. What feels like a fresh boost is often just relief from the tiredness that was waiting all along. With daily use, your brain adapts. It produces more adenosine receptors, making the same amount of caffeine less effective over time. You need a little more just to feel normal. Stop drinking it suddenly, and the withdrawal can arrive within a day. Headaches, brain fog, exhaustion, and difficulty concentrating become reminders that your brain has grown used to running with caffeine. It may seem harmless because almost everyone drinks it, but sometimes the most powerful addictions are the ones that feel completely normal. Sugar, it's everywhere. In soft drinks, desserts, breakfast cereals, sauces, and even foods that don't taste sweet. Most people consume it every single day, often without realizing how much they're actually eating. The moment sugar reaches your bloodstream, your brain takes notice. It quickly triggers the release of dopamine, activating the same reward system involved in many other addictive substances. The feeling isn't overwhelming, but it's enough to make your brain remember one simple lesson. That felt good. Do it again. At first, the effects seem harmless. Your energy rises, your mood improves, and your brain feels more alert. For a short time, everything feels a little easier. It's a quick reward with almost no effort, but the peak doesn't last. As your body releases insulin to remove the excess sugar from your blood, your energy begins to fall. The boost fades into tiredness, irritability, and another craving for something sweet. Instead of satisfying your hunger, sugar often leaves you wanting even more. Over time, this cycle repeats itself. Your brain becomes increasingly accustomed to frequent dopamine spikes, while your body starts responding less efficiently to insulin. Foods that once tasted incredibly sweet become normal, and larger amounts are needed to create the same feeling of satisfaction. Unlike drugs, sugar rarely causes dramatic withdrawal, but many people notice headaches, fatigue, strong cravings, difficulty concentrating, and mood changes when they suddenly cut back. Not because the body needs sugar to survive, but because the brain has become accustomed to constant rewards. Excessive sugar consumption doesn't just affect your waistline, it increases the risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and fatty liver disease while quietly changing the way your brain responds to pleasure. Sugar doesn't usually take control of your life overnight. It earns that control one craving at a time. Alcohol. Unlike most addictive substances, it's accepted almost everywhere. It's served at celebrations, family dinners, weddings, concerts, and sporting events. For many people, drinking feels completely normal, but inside the brain, alcohol tells a very different story. Once absorbed into the bloodstream, alcohol quickly reaches the brain and begins slowing communication between nerve cells. It enhances a calming chemical called GABA, while suppressing glutamate, the system responsible for alertness and self-control. The first effects usually feel pleasant. Your muscles relax, worries seem smaller, conversations become easier, confidence rises, and the world feels a little lighter. As more alcohol enters the brain, those same effects become stronger. Judgment weakens, coordination begins to fail, reaction time slows, yet many people still believe they're thinking clearly. That's one of alcohol's greatest illusions. It reduces your ability to recognize that it's impairing you. Eventually, the buzz fades. The brain struggles to restore its normal balance, leaving behind dehydration, fatigue, headaches, poor concentration, and the familiar feeling known as a hangover. With frequent drinking, alcohol begins changing the brain itself. It becomes harder to relax without it, and over time, tolerance develops. What once required one or two drinks may eventually require far more to produce the same effect. Long-term alcohol abuse damages the liver, weakens the heart, increases the risk of several cancers, and slowly erodes memory, judgment, and emotional control. Alcohol doesn't convince you that you're becoming weaker. It convinces you that you don't need to be sober to feel like yourself.